Bonjour tout le monde. A very good evening to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the webinar on Europe, COVID-19 and post-lockdown precautions organized by Department of French, Little Flower Degree College. This is A. Harini, Head Department of French and coordinator of the webinar. I am delighted to be host for today's webinar. I take this opportunity to welcome our principal, Reverend Brother Vincent Reddy, Vice Principal Ms. Jayanti Reddy, guest speakers of the day, Dr. P. Lakshminarayana Patel, Dr. Vilasni Nirati, participants from different institutions, and my dear colleagues and students. Let me now introduce our prestigious college to you. Little Flower Degree College, Uppal, is Catholic minority institution established by the Montfort Brothers of St. Gabriel. It was started in 2008 as a part of Little Flower Junior College, Hyderabad. Now, I request Mr. Raman from Department of Computer Science to take us through the virtual tour of our college by playing the video.
Little Flower Degree College, Uppal, Hyderabad. A Montfortian institute run by the Brothers of St. Gabriel Educational Society has been illuminating the world around with its motto, Lead to Illuminate. In its 12 years journey of excellence, LFDC has been fostering the young generation to be humane and preparing them to compete, realizing their dreams and purpose in life on the competitive global platform.
Good educational environments,
discipline,
practical skills
helped me in getting my first job.
excellent placement opportunities.
LFDC is an awesome college.
Dear parents and students, Little Flower Degree College, Uppal, Hyderabad has begun its admissions for the academic year 2020 and 21. The online application for the 3-year degree in BA, BSc, BCom and BBA is now available on our website.
Little Flower College.
LFDC.
Little Flower Degree College.
Thank you, sir. Before starting our session, I request all our participants to attend the session till the end to get benefited by our eminent speakers and also drop questions, if any, in the chat box. Those will be addressed after the session. Now, I request Ms. Radha from Department of Sanskrit to introduce our first eminent speaker of the day.
Good evening, everyone. I feel honored to say about Dr. Vilasini Nirati, the guest speaker of this session. She pursued her MBBS from Mahatma Medical College.
Ma'am,
yeah.
Just a moment, ma'am.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Ma'am, continue.
I feel honored to say about Dr. Vilasini Nirati, the guest speaker of this session. She pursued her MBBS from Mahatma Medical College, Khammam, completed diploma in anesthesiology from Kakatiya Medical College, Warangal, Medical Council of India registration from Andhra Pradesh Medical Council. Presently, she is the Chief Anesthesiologist, Critical Care and Pain Management Consultant with Srikara Hospital, Secunderabad. She has worked anesthesiologist and critical care consultant and consultant in pain management with Sigma Hospital. She has worked as visiting consultant, anesthesiologist, critical care, including CT surgeries in Olive Hospital, Apollo Hospital, Aditya Hospital, Satya Kidney Center, Kirloskar Hospital, Vasan Eye Care. She possesses life membership in Indian Medical Association Hyderabad and Indian Society of Anesthesiologists. She expertise practicing all types of regional anesthesia, including peripheral nerve blocks, epidurals with ultrasound guided and nerve stimulator. Expertise in general anesthesia, including orthopedic, pediatric, geriatric, bariatric anesthesia. She has experience in labor anesthesia and cardiac anesthesia. She is expert in all ICU procedures, critical care medicine, and pain management. Little Flower welcomes you for the session. Over to Harini.
Thank you, Radha ma'am. Now I would request ma'am to take over the session. Vijay sir, can I share my screen?
Please do it, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Just a moment, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Today I will give the brief knowledge of COVID-19 today.
Ma'am, the sound is coming, ma'am.
Now I am clear.
Yes, ma'am. Echo is coming, ma'am.
Now it's clear. Mute button. Now is it clear, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Reduce the speaker volume a bit, ma'am. Then it will be audible.
Ma'am, speaker volume కొంచెం తగ్గియండి. Yes, ma'am.
Now it's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can start, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Today I am going to give a brief knowledge about COVID-19. I don't go into depth. I will brief my content within 20 minutes, and I will share my knowledge and experience with you to gain about COVID-19. What is coronavirus? I want to clear your doubts. Mostly shared questions, mostly asked questions. I will want to clear today. The first question is, what is corona? Is it new to us? The coronavirus is not a new virus. Only the COVID-19 is the new. Coronavirus, it is first introduced in Hong Kong in 2003 as SARS to us. And then again in 2012 as MERS in Abu Dhabi. It was worldwide. But this corona is different. This is called novel coronavirus. And now it is, the disease caused by it is called COVID-19. That is coronavirus disease 2019. This is very new virus, but from the old family. Okay, why it is so popular? We dealt with SARS, we dealt with MERS, we dealt with many flus. But why this corona? Why we are not fearing about this? Why it is so popular? Because it is highly contaminated. It is highly infectious. What happens when an infected person expels virus, laden droplets on the surface or in the atmosphere, and someone inhales the virus? The novel coronavirus enters the nose and throat. It finds a welcome home in the lining of our nose. They will find ACE2 receptors there, and they will find a home. Okay, and through that ACE2 receptors, they will enter the human cells. Then they will plan to change the game. Okay, it may enter out our human cells using ACE2 inhibitors. Once inside, the virus hijacks our cells. They will hijack our machinery of working of all cells and making myriad copies of itself. It will make millions of copies. As the virus multiplies, an infected person may shed copious amounts in his sputum or in his droplets. So once he is infected, even though he is not symptomatic, he is more infectious. He can spread the disease through his virus, his droplets. In the first week, they may or may not get symptoms. It will stay up to, this is second slide. Why is it so popular? Yeah. Once, if many people, they will escape from virus entering into the lungs, our immunity will work and the virus dies at the upper airways only. Once our immunity fails, fails against fighting with the virus. Once the virus enters our lungs, it will start eating our entire lung. That is called ARDS. That is a medical knowledge. I am not going to tell any medical terms here. So the spread depends on the immunity of the person. How it spreads. Third slide, how it spreads. It spreads through the droplets, respiratory infection, and also GI tract. But still tests are done because the virus is not viable in the fecal matters, but it may spread. So we should avoid the public toilets or public washrooms. What happens to us if we are affected by COVID-19? Fourth slide. What happens to us if we are affected by COVID-19? What happens to us? Are we going to die? No. This is not that much serious virus so that all who are affected by COVID-19 will die. Out of 100 people, only 83 people will recover well. They may not have symptoms. Out of 100, 83 people, they may not have symptoms, they may not suffer anything. They will get out of the infection. Okay? In remaining 15 patients, they will suffer symptoms. And if their immunity is upright, their immunity is good, they can recover from the COVID-19. Only 3 patients, that is 3% people will die of COVID. How they will die? The virus once invades our lung tissue or any kidney tissue, brain tissue, it will start eating away. Total tissue, it will eat away. Okay? And why mortality rate is increasing? Because in that 15 patients I told, if their immunity doesn't work and their symptoms, still I am in fourth slide, and their immunity is not good, they suffer symptoms for more than 4 or 5 days without any attention. They may have severe disease and they may die. Okay, that is why we should take care. Who are at more risk? If 83% will get the infection, who are more affected? Who are more affected to have severe disease? Anyone can get the infection, but who will suffer for more severe disease? People who are with moderate asthma or chronic lung disease, and patients who are on cancer treatment or medicines which are immunosuppressing, and who are inherited immune system defects, that is HIV like infections, and who has serious heart conditions like heart failure or recent heart attack, and the people with diabetes and diabetes complications, and patients who are having kidney disease and who need dialysis, patient who is having cirrhosis of liver, who are extremely obese and who are pregnant. That is, the people should have who are having liver, heart, kidney disease and who are pregnant, whose immunity is very low, they may have severe disease. Okay. Next, travel or contact history. We should know travel or contact history of any person, because if they get symptoms, they are sure 100% the COVID-19 positive. Okay, who should undergo tests with mild symptoms? Even with mild symptoms, they should undergo tests. They should need medical. Who had international travel in last 14 days? Who live in area where COVID-19 is widely spread? Who have visited an area where COVID-19 is widely spread? And if you live with someone who are COVID-19 positive, okay? And if you have any close contact with the person who was COVID-19 positive, okay? And you had meeting or you have any meet within 6 feet someone who are sick or who are COVID-19 positive, and you are exposed to cough or sneeze, you have contact history. Whenever you go to hospital, they will ask for travel history and contact history. If you are exposed to cough and sneeze also, you should tell I have contact history. Okay, next. How do you protect yourself? We cannot prevent the disease, we cannot treat the COVID-19. Only one thing we can do is we can protect ourselves. We can avoid the contamination, we can avoid the contact. Okay, you should maintain the distance of 2 feet. How can you maintain the distance of 2 feet? Whenever you are going out, you should avoid groups of people, and you should maintain 2 feet distance. How can you know? You cannot measure with scale for 2 feet distance. You should take your arm distance, your arm length, 3 times arm length. You should keep distance from one person to another. When you go out, you should approximately you take your arm distance, 3 times the arm distance. You have to maintain the distance. Okay, and hand wash. You should wash your hands frequently. With what? Only any normal soap is needed to wash your hands. You should wash frequently your hands. Okay, you should wash for 20 seconds. Okay, how do you count 20 seconds? You should have a watch with the seconds, or you can simply sing your happy birthday song 2 times. Complete happy birthday song 2 times to count 20 seconds. You can wash your hands. What are the steps? How can you completely wash your hands? 1. Next, back of fingers. This is 2. All of you can do. All of you can follow me. Okay. 1 and back of fingers. 2. Then 3. Then 4. 5 around the thumb. 6 tips of your fingers. And you should wash till your elbows. Every time you should wash your hands. When you touch any infected, you don't know where is the infection. The droplets may persist on the surfaces like our working place, tables, computers, laptops, keyboards, and mobile phones. The droplets anywhere, this virus can sustain up to 24 hours on the dead surface also, on non-living surface also. So any time when you touch a new surface, you have to wash. Otherwise, you have to wash your hands whenever you need to touch your mouth, touch your eyes, or touch your nose or ears. If you want to touch, you have to wash and then only touch. Avoid frequent touching of nose, mouth, and eyes. Whenever you see more screen for hours, you can have irritation in eyes. When you want to rub your eyes, you have to first wash for 20 seconds your hands. Any soap is okay. No need of medicated soap or antimicrobial soaps. And next, hand rub. You can use any hand rub. When your hands are not dirt, you can use hand rub, because you cannot spend 20 seconds every time to wash your hands. That hand rub should contain at least 60% alcohol. Okay, if it is containing less than 60%, it is not going to work. Okay, then masks. Any people who are not healthcare workers, okay, they can use cloth mask. There are 4 types of masks: cloth mask, surgical mask, that is who are blue or green color, and N-series masks, N95, N99, N100 masks. These N-series masks can be used only by healthcare professionals who are doing procedures like central line intubation, like such things. For general people who are maintaining the social distance of 2 feet, they can use only cloth mask is enough. And one more thing, recently with mask, we should wear mask only when you are going out. No need mask when you are driving your car singly. Okay? No need of mask. And when you are at home without any infectious person in your home, you no need to wear mask. And don't do any physical exercise wearing mask because it decreases oxygen consumption. It decreases oxygen to your heart. It decreases heart oxygen supply to your brain. You may get headache for wearing mask more than 6 to 8 hours continuously. Okay, be cautious when you wear mask. Always cloth mask is okay for general people who are not health professionals, who are not living with infectious persons. Okay, next. What is the treatment for COVID-19? As of now, there is no particular treatment for any this coronavirus. Only studies are going on. Only the treatment which is used for general flu is used. When they are become more sick, when they develop ARDS, same ventilator settings, how we treat ARDS patients, like that only we will treat. There is no specific treatment as of now from COVID-19. And prophylaxis. Medical prophylaxis also not been approved. Still studies are going against chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, nedulasma, antiviral, and so on. But still no single drug is approved. Okay, still the studies are going on, and WHO is sponsoring for that. So only we can protect, and prevention is the only thing. There is no treatment, there is no prophylaxis, and no vaccine till now. We may expect in 2021-22, but not now. Okay, next. And know about myths. There are many myths during this COVID pandemic. There are many myths running in the phones or my internet that drinking hot water may kill the virus. Drinking hot water cannot kill the virus, or taking hot bath, hot shower can kill the virus. Same, hot water bath, hot water shower cannot kill the virus. You should maintain social distance and frequent hand wash for 20 seconds. This is the thing. By only hand washing, and before touching your mouth and nose, hand washing is the only preventive method. And spraying bleach or spraying medication can sterilize the area. That is also myth. Any bleach or any chemical cannot kill the virus. Okay. And next myth is houseflies can transmit. That is also myth. There are no studies houseflies or mosquitoes transmitting the disease. Adding more pepper to your soup can kill the virus. That is also myth. Pepper, ginger, lemon, no substance or no chemical. There are no studies or there is no proof that these natural remedies will kill the virus. 5G mobile network, virus may transmit through 5G mobile network. This is also myth. Virus cannot transmit it through 5G mobile or 4G mobile. Drinking methanol, ethanol or bleach can prevent virus. That is also myth. And taking alcohol can decrease the infection. That is also very myth. You may get more infection because you may loss of judgment. And one more testing, it was running through in the internet, holding your breath for 10 seconds. If you can hold, you have no infection. If you are having cough, you may get infection. That is also myth. The test is not at all right. When you have contact history, when you are having symptoms, you should undergo testing. Okay. Symptoms. But what are the symptoms? When do you test it? Okay, what are the emergency symptoms? If you or any persons you are surrounding who are having severe constant chest pain or pressure, or extreme difficulty in breathing, severe constant lightheadedness, and who are with disoriented or unresponsive, they need emergency attention, they need emergency testing. And whom to test? For non-emergency symptoms. The patients recently experiencing symptoms like fever and chills, mild to moderate breathing difficulty, new or worsening cough, sore throat, vomiting, aching throughout the body, loss of taste smell. These are the symptoms. If you are having these symptoms, you should undergo test or you should undergo the medical consultation. Thank you. Oh, last thing, how to improve immunity. Hello? How to improve your immunity? You can only improve your immunity. You cannot completely avoid the infection. How to improve your immunity? You should have adequate sleep at least for 8 to 9 hours. And you should be stress-free. You should have contact with your family members and close relatives. And you can have rich in vitamin C. And regular exercise. Exercise which increases your heart rate and breath rate. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, your audio is not enabled.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Continue.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an interesting and informative session. Ma'am, would you like to take the questionnaire now or later on, ma'am?
After talk of Dr. Patel, we can have questionnaire.
Okay, ma'am. Now I request Miss Gayatri from Department of Sanskrit to introduce our second eminent speaker of the day. Over to Gayatri, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Vaidyaha Narayano Harihi. Doctors are gods on earth. They guard our health. Their noble profession is something to be worshipped. They protect our lives just as our soldiers do. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Sri Dr. Lakshmi Narayana Patel, Orandla. He pursued MBBS Uthmanaya Medical College, Hyderabad, diploma in cardiology, IME, diploma in diabetology, IME. Presently, he is working as a consultant clinical cardiology with Srikara Hospitals. Sir has also worked as senior registrar in cardiology at Max Cure Hospitals, registrar cardiologist in Sunshine Hospitals, Ramco Rajiv Arogya Shri medical coordinator in Sunshine Hospitals. He also worked as casualty medical officer in Kamineni Hospital, LB Nagar, and blood bank medical officer in Maitri Blood Bank. Sir possesses fellowship in cardiology, IMA KIMS, Hyderabad, and also in diabetology, IMA Hyderabad. Hidden Flower welcomes you, sir. Over to Harini ma'am.
Thank you, Gayatri ma'am. Now I would request Sir to take over the session.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind introduction. I am Dr. P. Lakshmanayan Patel, PLN Patel, as you have introduced me. And thanks to Little Flower Degree College for organizing this webinar on behalf of your staff and students. I congratulate. And thank you, Dr. Vilasni, for giving a brief about COVID-19, the causes, the symptoms, precautions, and other information. You made my job easy. And I was asked to talk on COVID-19 situation, particularly in Europe. And more than that, I would like to emphasize on post-lockdown precautions, because the situation elsewhere in the world vis-a-vis India, we are better aware. Every time we open our mobile, any social media, be it WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, or on electronic media and print media, we have plethora of information regarding the statistics, regarding recent developments in relation to COVID-19 and the ongoing research for the development of vaccine for this particular pandemic. If I have to talk about Europe, we all know how it all began. I would like to brief on it. I won't go into depth because we are bombarded with such information all these days since last 2 months. Just 3-4 lines about how it began and where are we now. WHO was informed about such incidents regarding corona and particularly COVID-19 on 31st December 2019. And it is only in the month of March that WHO declared it a pandemic, and from then on, we, particularly Indians, started taking precautions prior to the lockdown in the 3rd week of March. Then what went between January 1st, since China declared it to WHO, and from the time WHO said it is a pandemic, matlab, across the world it has its incidence. So Italy was the first European country in terms of numbers, in terms of casualties related to COVID-19. There is a link to Wuhan, where a number of people exchange between Italy and China took place, and the rest is what we have seen in terms of number of people getting affected, particularly in Italy. You know it better. And why are we happy? Or in that sense, why do we think we are, better off than other European countries? It particularly depends upon the viral load. The time it was detected in China, the people exchange between Europe and China, the mass movement, the viral load is primarily responsible for all the consequences that Europe has to face during last 4 months. Glad that this week Spain and France are easing restrictions, particularly lockdown norms. But it was pathetic to see people affected by COVID-19 and numbers are unfortunately huge. It began with Italy, Spain, France, Germany, United Kingdom, and see, United Kingdom has 40,000 deaths, the worst affected country so far. If you think beyond even United States, the number of international movements is more in Europe and United States of America. And that is the reason the virus spread very rapidly and the lockdown norms were not as strict as we followed when pandemic was declared. It is not like we Indians are less susceptible and we have superior genes or a genetic map than the rest of the world. It is only about the viral load that I would like to drive home the point. And now, since lockdown was declared, if I come to India, since lockdown was declared, first week, everyone was interested in numbers. Even I used to watch what is the count for today. That interest, that enthusiasm was there for the first 2 weeks. And the Delhi episode multiplied the spread across India, and now we are not far behind. Especially in a populous country like India, with healthcare system who advanced healthcare system who only a few can afford, and the government machinery is unprepared to tackle the uninvited situation. So last 6 weeks, lockdown has done some good for us. In which way? Because we were not ready with any production gear when this was declared pandemic. Our hospitals were not equipped. We didn't know the severity of the infection, and it all took these 6 weeks for us to know what is what. And now we are at a time when we think like lockdown could be lifted any now and then, but no, we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg. June and July, once if lockdown is eased and there is mass movement of people, goods, then we are still, we think like we have won the war, but the battle is still there. So this is about how it spread in Europe, India, and the rest of the world. But now I would like to emphasize on post-lockdown precautions, particularly in relations to healthcare facilities. As a doctor, as a physician, I would emphasize on these things rather than dwelling into statistics and general message. We hospitals have devised few norms wherein we have to take extra steps to contain the spread from this stage of time. Particularly, I would like to mention to protect the healthcare workers from COVID-19 infection. That is the first and foremost thing we are stressing upon. Already, HCW, healthcare workers, we are taking prophylaxis as was advised by ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. As you all know, chloroquine. First day, week 0, we have taken 800 mg in 2 divided doses. And for next 7 weeks, we are taking weekly 400 mg chloroquine. This is the prophylaxis recommended for healthcare workers, people who are associated with handling patients, and we are not sure who is infected and who is not. As Dr. Vilasni told us, 83% of us are asymptomatic. When I told 83% of us, those 83% who are infected, 83% of us are asymptomatic. And 3% succumb to the disease, and the rest in between present with mild to moderate symptoms, which usually they get better in 2 to 4 weeks time. So our primary motto is to protect the healthcare workers from COVID-19 infection. And for this, the step 1 is taking prophylaxis medicine. Secondly, how we are taking care of our healthcare workers, I would like to tell in detail in my subsequent talk. Secondly, to protect the patients from COVID-19 infection from the healthcare facility they are visiting. In all these 7, 8 weeks since we know that COVID-19 is a pandemic and we started knowing better about COVID-19, we have been working, especially in my institute, with a reduced number of hours. Then we don't know who is infected and who is not, unless until we do the specific COVID-19 test. the COVID-19 test is not something which we can order any lab in our neighborhood. Even though central government has authorized labs to go ahead with testing COVID-19, but now, particularly in our state, only it is in government institutes that we are testing suspected patients. So, to protect the patients from having COVID-19 infection from healthcare facility they are visiting, we are encouraging them to take all the general precautions which Dr. Vilasani has just enlightened us. Secondly, we are taking a brief history of all the patients who visit the hospital, particularly in relation to their reason to come to the hospital, if they have any fever, if they have any travel history, if they have any breathlessness, any cough, any other symptoms like body pains, headache, diarrhea, any conjunctivitis. And such patients are advised to go some preliminary investigations which might give us a lead to guide them for further advanced testing in relation to COVID-19. Like suspected patients, we are doing chest X-ray, serology, we check their blood pressure, blood counts. Then, if we find anything abnormal, then we are even going ahead with the high resolution CT of the chest, CT of the chest. So, if all these things correlate, patient's symptoms, the blood counts, the radiology, like X-ray and CT, then we are guiding them to the nearest facility where COVID-19 is being tested. Then, third is to make a healthcare facility like a hospital COVID compliant is allotting separate wards, separate rooms, what we call isolation rooms. And in the event of any mass infections where government cannot handle such crowd, then even private institutes have to start taking them in. Then every hospital has its own isolation rooms where precautions are taken to prevent infection from patient to the healthcare worker or from the healthcare worker to the patient. Recently, you have seen in the news a diagnostic laboratory in one of its branch. It was contained, it was put in containment because one of its staff tested positive. So she is a healthcare worker. So it could be either way. Anyone, a patient can, a visitor to the hospital can infect the healthcare worker, or the healthcare worker himself or herself can infect the visitor or the patient. So isolation rooms is one thing, one such measure we are taking up in private hospitals, institutions. Then to ensure rapid identification and triage of COVID-19 patients. Rapid identification, just now I have been deliberating on how we get a suspected patient and what all tests. Then to deal with emergencies in a non-emergency setting. Suppose a hospital is not COVID compliant, but a patient has come with symptoms related to COVID, and patient is in respiratory distress. You cannot shift a patient who is in respiratory distress, who needs intensive care observation, intensive care admission. For such patients, we will have to triage them and isolate them and take proper precautions while taking the nasal or throat swab and sending it to facility where they are doing the testing. To deal all of this is a cost effective manner. This is very important, particularly because of lockdown. Many of us have lost employment. Some of us are getting half our pay. Some unorganized sector, they don't have any source of livelihood during last couple of months. And when such a patient comes to hospital, and when you advise all these investigations, the blood panel, the X-ray, the CT, this all would cost not less than 5,000 to 6,000 rupees, apart from consulting fees and transportation. So, coughing up somewhere between 5 to 10 grand for just screening is a burden on the general public. So we are also devising cost-effective means to identify any suspect and give them proper guidelines to visit a nearest government-accredited COVID testing facility. So these are all what we hospital people are getting boosted up, getting ready, preparedness. Then I told I will deliberate later regarding how we are taking care to protect our healthcare workers from COVID-19 infection. Like, we plan the day ahead. Whatever material we have used the day before, we try to sterilize, use protective gear afresh every day. Like, this is a normal 3-ply mask, but in this particular scenario, a N95 FFP2, such mask can give us a 94 to 95% protection rather than this ordinary mask. And it need not mandatory all of us wear N95 because it is a costly gear. Instead, a normal mask would also suffice, provided we maintain adequate social distance, frequent hand wash, avoid crowds, avoid enclosed spaces. Then, communication with the patient regarding his symptoms, our plan of care, and whom to approach for further testing. Modifications to the workplace, like I told you, we are modifying the hospital, identifying our own isolation rooms, identifying our own testing chambers. It's not like you check patients randomly like you do in a laboratory. Testing a COVID patient needs a separate facility where the person who tests also has to take adequate precautions. Then modifications to the workflow. Like, we are a team of 10 supposedly in our hospital, then all the 10 are not working at a stretch 5 days a week or 6 days a week. But like, we are taking shifts, like to protect or to safeguard healthcare workers, just in case one is affected, the other should be available to attend the need and the sick in the hospital. Then protective gear to the doctor and the supporting staff. This is a routine 3-ply mask. But while in hospital, while we deal with the patients, we use N95. And apart from N95 type of mask, we also use face shields. So these face shields give us a 3-ply mask or N95 along with the face shield can give us almost more than 95% of the protection. Then training to the staff, like proper disposal of the infected material, whether it be the gloves, whether it be the blood swabs, whether it be the used dressing material, and also some in kind of some special situations. So these are all things which we have been taking care in hospital settings to deal with situations, particularly in the coming months in June and July, when these and we have taken time on the request of Harini. It is a privilege to talk to all you audience. I conclude here, but we are here to address to any of your doubts, because as a doctor, myself in cardiology, and Dr. Vilasni, she is one of a big names in ICU critical care. So better you utilize this opportunity to raise any doubts, which we as a doctors will be in a better position than you who are from non-medical background to address your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an illuminating session and for sharing the much needed deep insights of COVID-19. And it was a great pleasure listening to you, sir. If any of the participants have any questions, you can post the questions in the chat box. I guess you and ma'am gave an excellent session, sir. There are no questions as of now.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Madam, at least we can give our email ID. You can pass on our email ID or our contact numbers.
Yeah,
Just
sure,
as
sir.
anyone has any concern, any doubt which they could not, regarding any of their family member or their relative or their colleagues who things like they are, concerned about this situation, they are as well free to call us or mail us, or through you can put a conference call and connect to us so that we can guide them just in case.
Okay, sir. We have a WhatsApp group where we can share the information. I would share the doctor's mail IDs through the WhatsApp group. Further, any queries, the participant can surely contact Dr. Patel and Dr. Vilasni. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now, we have come to the end of our session. I now express my deep gratitude towards our esteemed speakers, Dr. Lakshminarayan Patel and Dr. Vilasni Nirati, for sharing their immense knowledge. We have been fortunate to have Sir and Ma'am. The lectures delivered by our speakers were really informative, inspiring, and motivating. I'm sure that the participants must have benefited by today's lecture from distinguished speakers. On behalf of Department of French, Little Flower Degree College, I sincerely express my deep sense of gratitude to the speakers of the day for accepting our invitation and giving us their valuable time and excellent presentations. It has been my pleasure to host all the participants of the webinar. I am thankful to all the participants for joining us, for attending this webinar. on Europe, COVID-19 and post-lockdown precautions. I sincerely thank our college management, Principal Reverend Brother Vincent Reddy and Vice Principal Ms. Jayanti Reddy for encouraging us and giving us support for conducting this event. I also thank my colleagues and students of LFDC for their kind help, cooperation in every aspect. My special thanks to Mr. Vijay Reddy and Mr. R.K. Raman, Faculty Department of Computer Science, for giving me their precious time and technical help. On behalf of the Department of French, I, A. Harini, once again thank everyone whose contributions had made this webinar a grand success. With these words, I sign off for today. Thank you, everyone. Now, I would like to make an announcement to the participants. Link for the feedback forms and e-certificates will be provided in the chat box and also will be shared in the WhatsApp group. You can first give the feedback, and then as soon as you submit your feedback, it will be forwarded to the certificate form. You can download the PDF of your certificate and save it. Thank you one and all. Stay home, stay safe, and stay healthy. Thank you.